Hello viewers, welcome to CodeForAny. Fruit Markets Node Backends API inside. Today we need to develop this here. The unit management's API we need to develop here. We need to list out here the number of units we need to put inside the tables. And this shop owner app to manage this here the add new units names, and you need to give this here the value. We need to configurations for the need here. Need to making here the insert, update, deletes, and row records. We need to list out. So need to creating for API need to develop here today. Let's start how to write down inside the Node.js. First of all, we need to write down here the app.post, and we need to create here the API slash admin slash, and to give this name here the unit create, otherwise unit head num, like this. Need to setting this here the name request and response. We need to return this here the callback functions for this event. Now we need to call this here the helper dot delogs, and to print this here the request dot body. We need to print here which data we need to get here. So now we need to get this here the add. We need to declare here a variable request object is equal to request dot body. Like, so need to write down here. So now need to check this here the access tokens. Now need to pass this here the request dot. So need to pass here the headers, and we need to give this here the response objects. And then after, if here the valid, then to get this here the user records we need to get for this callback functions. And we need to check this here the required tabs we need to use here. We need to pass here the 3 for the shop owners for this managing this here. Now we need to check this here the which parameters are the required parameters. We need to needs here. We need to call this here the helper check parameter valid, and we need to pass this here the response object, then after request object. And after, we need to give this here the check verify the these parameters includes or not. So we need to check this here the key names. We need to need this here the unit names and unit value. We need to needs for this API unit value, like parameters we need to needs for this API. And we need to, if valid, then to get this here the blank callbacks. And now need to check first of all the db.query, and need to find out here the select query. Need to open this here the database, select SQL select query, and we need to remove this here this status, and no need to clean here, set like here. And we need to get this here the records for specific these orders. We need to getting here, so need to check this here and question mark, and we need to check this here the status not equal to 2. Like, we need to set here the conditions. Now need to pass this here the parameters request object dots. Need to pass this here the unit names for need to verify for this API. And we need to give this here the not deleted means need to pass this here the to. And if here the this query, you need to returning this here the callbacks errors and results. We need to returning this here like here. Now we need to check here the conditions. If error, then we need to call this here the helper throw HTML errors, and to pass this here errors parameters and response parameters. And we need to terminate this here the executions calls. Now if here not gets any errors, then to result check here the count more than 0 means here the already added this unit names need to edit. That's why I need to return this here the message. We need to fail response need to returning here's like here's. And we need to set this here the status, and we need to set this here the 0. And we need to write down here the message for unit already added. Like this message we need to return this year's. Else part, if not already added, then to call this here the insert query db query. And we need to write down here the insert into, maybe typo here, fix this here into. And to set this here the table name unit detail underscore detail. And we need to give this here the column name. So need to configure this here the unit and unit name and unit value. Two values need to pass values. Like we need to pass this here the values keyword. Need to typo, need to fix question mark. Two question mark need to needs, and we need to pass this here the request object dot unit name and request object dots need to call this here the unit value. Like we need to pass here's, and we need to return this here the error callbacks, and results we need to returning this here's for this unit. Now we need to again check this here the errors. If errors, then to throw this HTML error and return these termination functions. Server can respond, and then after we need to, if here the result found means here successfully added these results, and if not, then to fail this here the insert, and we need to respond this here the fail message like here, and if here successfully, then to give this here the success response, and msg maybe set here the message unit added successfully, like we need to message, and we need to return this here the payload, and we need to set this here the unit id, pass this here colons result dot insert id, then after unit name and unit value also need to write down here request object dot unit name, then after unit val we need to assign here request object dot unit value. Like this we need to parameters pass for this here the api, we need to set this here. Now same as we need to creating here the edit for this unit api we need to develop. Now need this here the mode parameters we need to add unit id, you need to given this here's and edit here's. Now we need to clean this here this query, we need to cut this data, and we need to find out here this query need to replace with here's like here's, and to creating here the update query need to click here's, and we need to remove this here the unit id need to cut here, and also need to remove here the status, and created date not need, so need to clean here and modify, and we need to set here value as a now like here, and we need to set here the question mark for the passing here the dynamic value, and unit id and status is not equal to 2. Cut this query, and we need to replace it here this data, and now we need to pass this here the value. First ones need to update this name, then after value, then after need to pass this here the unit id, like need to passing here's dots, need to check here the affected row more than 0, means here the successfully updated successfully, and we need to remove this payload here's, otherwise need to else this here this response. Like this we need to manage things here for this here the for updates, so need to write down here the edit like here's, we need to check here that the API need to update, same methods we need to follow here's, save this here's. Now same as we need to create here the delete api, need to always use this here the soft delete. Now we need to write down here the unit delete like here's, and to need this here the only unit id we need to pass here's, and we need to set this here the status, remove here this value, and set here the comma, and we need to set like this here the value, and we need to remove this here the unused parameters, and we need to deleted successfully. Like this message need to pass this here for the deletes. Now we need to create here the another api for the list, gets here the list, need to copy here, and we need to paste this here, and now you need to set this here the unit list like here's, and we need to remove this here the parameters no needs, need to clean this here like here, Now need to creating here the select query, need to select here, remove this here the created and modified dates, need to cut this query here, and we need to paste this here where and not equal to 2, need to pass here and remove this here this value, and we need to return this here the results, and to get this here the unit details information unit list, need to returning this here for this API. Now need to save this here. If you like this video, please give the thumbs up. If you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and awesome content. If you have any question, so please write down the comment sections. I will help you and sort out your issue. Everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care.